is chapter 3, exam review for Algebra 2.
Yay.
You have a system of equations and you're asked to solve these by graphing them. So my guess is if this were a multiple choice question, they'll give you 4 graphs and you pick out which one is the correct one. So how do you graph each of these?
Set them equal to y equals
You have to
mx plus
set them
b.
equal to y. So for this one right here, negative 3x minus y equals negative 10. How do you get y by itself? You're gonna, I'm gonna add 3x and then divide by negative 1. And I'm showing you all the steps here. So how do you graph that? Well, you begin at 10 on your y-axis. Here's my y-axis, there's 10. And the slope is negative 3, so you go down 3 and over 1. Down 3 and over 1. You thought what? So here's this graph. That's that line. Now the second line, it's 4x minus 4y equals 8. How do you get y by itself? You're going to subtract 4x, divide by negative 4, and you get y is 1x minus 2. So how do you graph that? You begin at negative 2, and you go up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, and where these two lines crash is 3, 1. That's the solution. 3, 1 is the solution. These two lines are independent of each other. They're intersecting, and the system is consistent because we got an answer. It's consistent. I'm going to keep talking about it. You remember it. Okay, now this next one says solve by substitution, but the good news is this is a multiple choice test. I already asked you, this question was already tested. We already gave you points on whether or not you can do the substitution method. So this is an exam. I'm just looking for the right answer without cheating, okay? So how do you don't have to show work. So can you get it, the answer without substitution? Because I don't think substitution is your best method. I look at these, see how these are both negative? If you change all the signs on this top equation and make it 2x plus y equals 14, what could I now do? Elimination. Yeah, elimination is everyone's favorite. It's mine. Add, and you get x is 5. Easy? How do you find the y value? What do you do?
Plug the 5 in.
You're going to plug 5 into either one of these equations, and you're going to get y is 4.
Wait, what was it?
Doesn't matter.
Oh, like the one that you changed or the original?
Doesn't matter.
So I mean those four.
You can do this one, you can do this one, or you can do that one. Okay, there's a lot of these. Number 31. Oh, and by the way, we got an answer on that last one, right? Those two are independent lines and the system is consistent. We got an answer. How about 31? What would you do on this one? 31. Substitution?
No, I just.
Someone in first hour said substitution too. Substitution is the one you don't want to do because you're going to have a bunch of fractions. Now, can you do substitution? Yes, absolutely. But you're not going to want to because it's way more difficult. Okay? So for this one, you're going to use elimination. The game plan for me is to multiply the top by 7 and the bottom by 2. Why?
14.
Yep, you're going to get 14s right here. So what you have here, 29x plus 14y equals 77, and then 8x minus 14y equals negative 20. You add them down, they cancel. you get 57x equals, whoops, 57 equals 57 and x is 1. So I already know this is a consistent system, I'm getting an answer. How do you find the y value? What do you do? You're gonna plug 1 in, I'd probably do the top one. You're gonna do 7 times 1 is 7, plus 2y equals 11. Subtract 7, what do you get? 4, and what's y?
2.
2. So y is 2. So the answer is 1, 2. Now, on number 32, same thing, what would you do on this one? Bottom 1 by 4, top 1, top 1 by 4, bottom 1 by 3. So go ahead and do it really quick. Tell me what you get.
It's negative 60.
So these cancel.
It's negative 48. Negative 40.
You get 18x equals negative 108. And what's x? Negative 6. And when you plug negative 6 into one of these two equations, what do you get for y? I got 1. I got 1. Okay, now so far, all the ones we did they were consistent systems and we got an answer, so the lines were independent. So this one, they're asking you, something weird's gonna happen. How do we solve this one? I'm gonna multiply the top by negative 3, so you get, this top equation, you get 3x minus 6y equals negative 30, and then the bottom, keep it the same. When you add down, what happens? You get 0 equals negative 19. Does 0 equal negative 19? No. So this means there's no solution. These two lines are going to be parallel, they're never going to cross. Is the system consistent or inconsistent?
Inconsistent.
It's inconsistent. So this is an inconsistent system because there's no answer. The lines are still independent though, they're going to be parallel. They're independent lines. But if you look at the next one, what happens here? Everything cancels. So this is a consistent system. Why? Because we got more answers than we know what to do with. We have so many answers, but these lines are dependent. They're dependent. Yes.
I remember when we did this unit, you said you didn't like infinite solutions, was it just something everything works?
Oh.
What was the other one?
Yes, good question. So, when you say infinite solutions, it sounds like any answer in the world works. But it's really x such that, and then you write one of these equations down.
Will it be
That
like
is
that on
how
the
you
class?
answer it, yes. You need to know that. So it's infinite solutions, x such that x minus 3 equals 9, or you can write the other equation, it doesn't matter. Okay, so that's how you would write, that's another way to write infinite, it might say infinite solutions. Might say infinite, it means the same thing. Okay, next, you have 52 people attending a ball game.
Wow.
We have children and adults, okay? So, we're talking about adults and children, we have 52, so what's one of our equations?
A plus
A plus C equals 52.
Yeah. Now, it says we have 3 times as many children. So here's the children. And here's the adults. What do I have to do to the adults? There's 3 times as many, I put them higher. What do I have to do with this to make it equal to that? Huh? Multiply by what? 3. So C is equal to 3 times A. If we multiply the adults by 3, then they'll be even. Now, how would you solve this?
You substitute to C for 3.
I would take this and put it right here. So A plus 3A is 52. So 4A is 52. What's A? 13. And then how would you find children? 13 times 3, which is 39. And it makes sense. Okay, we're done with chapter 3. Chapter 4 is a little longer. What is this gonna look like when you graph it?
Parabola.
No, the parent function. What does the
A
parent
parabola.
function look like? It's a parabola.
Parable.
And you guys didn't know that on your test. This is a parabola. Now, you're gonna plug numbers like -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, and if you square them, you get these numbers. We've done this a million times. So, the trick that I showed you, you start at the origin and you go over 1 both ways and up 1, and over 2 and up 1, 2, 3, 4. If you wanted to do another one, you'd go over 3 and up 9. I don't think there's 9 here. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, it'd be off the page, it'd be like right here. Well, this one is asking you to graph x plus 3 squared plus 4. So where are you gonna go with that parent function?
Left 3, up 4.
Left 3 and up 4. So if we take the vertex and go left 1, 2, 3 and up 1, 2, 3, 4, we're gonna start there and then go over 1, up 1, and over 2, up 1, 2, 3, 4. How's that? Do you remember this? Yeah, from yesterday. How about the next one, 37? That's easy. They want the vertex and the axis of symmetry. What's the axis of symmetry? It's the opposite of that, and then what's the vertex? Yep. So, axis of symmetry is x equals -2, and the vertex, -2 and -4. Next one. Now we're talking about domain and range and max and min. If you were to, what is the axis of symmetry? X equals -2 and the vertex is -3. So if you were to graph this, we're gonna go 2 to the left, right? And then down 3. Right there. Now, is this parabola gonna be a U or an upside down?
A U.
It's a U. So this is all they want to know. They want to know, is this a max or a min?
It's min.
It's a min. When this A value is positive, it's a min. If it's negative, it's going to be upside down and then it would be a max. Now the domain, do you remember the X values? It's all real numbers for quadratics. But the range, what's the smallest Y value here?
Y is greater than or equal to
You got it.
It always
Nope,
If it
nope.
flips?
If it flipped, if it were like this, if I had it upside down, it would be Y is less than or equal to -3. Negative, if it were upside down. Okay, tell me the transformations on 39.
Left 3,
Left 3,
up 5.
what's this negative?
Flipped.
Reflection over the x-axis and up 5. 40. You have a parabola, and they give you the vertex and a point that it passes through. So here's your little recipe card that tells you what do I do with this? You're gonna insert, it's like, you just need to know what H, K, X, and Y are. Okay, this is H and K, and this is X and Y. We need to find A. So, Y is -4 in order, -4 is equal to A. The X value is -7. We're gonna subtract the H value, and then we're gonna subtract K. So, let's sharpen our, yes.
Wouldn't it be +7 because it's 7's a -2? So like you're subtracting it.
-7.
No, for the K. You see, for the formula.
Oh, it's
you put
plus
negative.
K, because that's why.
Okay.
It's plus K. My bad, thank you. That was plus K, so it's -7. All right, so now let's clean this up. I know these two negatives cancel out, which I get a 1 inside here. 1 squared is 1, you have 1A. So what's A? Add 3? What's A? So now all you're gonna do now is go back and replace the A value and the vertex. So the correct answer would be Y equals 3, and then X, H is 8, so it's a negative, so it's a positive 8, and then -7.
Don't forget your squares. It's common error.
Okay, 41. Yeah. Do I know? Use a half sheet here. How do you know that formula to find the vertex? Negative B over 2A. What is that? It's the axis of symmetry. And on the axis of symmetry lies your vertex.
Also vertex.
So, what is the B value for? So it's gonna be -4 over 2 times 2. Clean this up, you get -1. So your axis of symmetry is x equals -1. How do you find the vertex? You're gonna plug -1 in this problem. So it's 2 times -1 squared plus 4 times -1 minus 10. This goes to 2. -4 minus 10 is -12. You guys coming back to you guys? So if I asked you, is this a max or a min, what would you say it is? Is it a max or a min? You gotta look at this A value. It's gonna be U-shaped like that. This is gonna be a minimum value. When A is positive, it's a min. If it's negative, it's a max.
Right above that, I always draw my U. Right above the 2, I say, oh, it's facing this way. And that can help you, whether it's a max or a min. Just
Like,
a little
look at
draw.
42. Is it gonna be a max or a min?
Max.
It's gonna be a max. Now they wanna know what it is, so let's find it, let's find out what it is. Where is the maximum point? It's the vertex, so it's -b over 2a. So -20 over 2 times -2, and -20 over 4 is 5?
Yep.
So 5 what? 5 what? We have to plug 5 in here. -2 times 5 squared plus 20 times 5 minus 2. So this is gonna be -50, this is gonna be 100. What'd you get? 48? 48? So you're gonna have a maximum at 5, they're not gonna ask you where the maximum is, it's just gonna, I think it's gonna ask you if it's a max or a min. It's positive 48. And now, see, this is your vertex. Let me sketch it really quick. Over 5, up 48, and it's upside down. So can you tell me the range on this?
Y is less than or equal to 40.
Yep. y is this number right here. See, that's gonna be your 48 here, and that's 5. It's not drawn to scale, but. Okay, this next one is asking you for the vertex form. So there's two things you can do. You can find the vertex and then plug it in, or you can use complete the square. Do you remember completing the square? If you want to do the vertex form, then go ahead. How do you complete the square? You slide -6 over.
So there's nothing to factor.
You wanna take this and take half of it, which is 4, and square it. You're gonna add 16 here, but take it away. Factor this. See this trinomial right here? That's how it factors, and then add these two up. Now, what you could have done on this is you could have found using the vertex form. You could have done negative b over 2a. You would have gotten -4. So you plug -4 in, it's x minus, it's gonna be opposite of that. And then you find the y value, y is gonna end up being -22. So if you wanna do it that way, go for it. If you wanna do complete the square, do that.
So how'd you get the 16
Half of this and square it. Okay, 44. How do you factor this? Super easy. That's it, just factor it. Now what's nice about this, it's a multiple choice test. If you draw a blank, you should be able to FOIL them out and see which one works, okay?
Multiple choice.
Okay, 45. Now you're asked, and you're not gonna be able to use a graphing calculator, so.
Yeah.
Is this, what's the shape of this? It's a U, right? But where does it, is it upside, isn't it upside down?
Yes.
So which one's not upside down?
D.
D. So you know so anyone that picks D, I know that
You're
it's anything. Okay, now there's another point that's very easy to locate. It's this right here. You know what that is?
That's up.
That's your y-intercept.
So no, can't be B.
So what other, it can't be,
B.
B.
it can be, no, it can't be B. B is down below.
No, it can't.
Why can't it be, it's 2. It has to hit at 2, not -2. So it can't be B.
It's not even a negative.
Now,
a
it's
negative.
one of these two, A or C. Now, what you're gonna do is find the axis of symmetry. So I would do -b over 2a. So it's -2 over 2 times -2. So you get -2 over -4, which is a half. So which one is it? It's A. That's your axis of symmetry. 1/2, which is this one right here. If I would have got -1/2, it would have been C. Okay, now we get to do all this fun factoring.
Ew.
This should take you literally
I know.
20 seconds to factor them. How do you factor 46? Completely. First, take out a -4. Then factor this, you get x minus 6, x plus 2. That's your best answer. For 47, this is the guess and check one. And then I'm gonna put -5 here, because I wanna get to -22. And that is gonna give me -25, and then +3 is there's your negative. So these two multiply to give you -15, it wasn't too bad. And then when you FOIL it out, the outer and the inners add up to be -22. 48, is there something we can take out on 9? And now this is a perfect square trinomial. or you can write x minus 1 squared. It'd be 9 times x minus 1 squared. And the last one is the difference of two perfect squares. That's easy. Those are gimmies. Okay, number 50. 50, 51, and 52 are asking you to solve them. So if you can't factor, you can't solve. So get a 0 on one side. What two numbers add, whoops, look what I did. Switched them around. It's 11x plus 28. What two numbers multiply to give you 28 but add to be 11?
7 and 4.
Yep. Okay, what are your two answers? -7 and -4. Okay, 51.
Yep.
51. We are going, how do you factor this one? It's not too bad. 2x and x. Now I want a 5 here, so I want a 3 here to get a 6, but I want this to be positive, because I want it to be a positive 5. And then so your answers are 1/2 and -3. And then the last one, I can take a 2 out. I can factor a 2 out of this one. And then this one factors to be 3x plus, 3x minus 2 and x plus 1. And your answers are 2/3 and -1. Questions? Okay, the next one. This is solving, but there's no middle term, so get rid of this 108. Whoops, 108. Now, this one, you can simplify. Both of these are divisible by 3. You get 49 over 36. And now take the square root of both sides, and it's plus or minus 7/6. Plus or minus, don't forget. And for this one, 54, what should you do? Subtract 25. What do you get?
X squared plus 18. Plus 57. No. No.
This is gonna be a 7, 50.
Yeah, 57.
56. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, now what times what is 56, but adds to be 18? Nine and 7? 9 times 7 is
No.
63.
Wish you could
Nothing.
factor.
Okay, so how do we do this the other way? We're gonna, give me the factors of 56. 1
Eight.
times 56, we'll find it. How many times does 2 go into 56?
4 and 14.
Yeah.
It's 4 and 14.
Is it 4 and 14?
Yeah.
Good
Just
job. And you could do it this way too. You'll find out which two add to be.
That's
Good
the
job.
last.
So your answers are -4 and -14. Good job, Nick. Those are your two answers.
Great job.
Okay, next. We want to solve this by graphing. Well, which two answers can we cross out right away,
B and B.
fast? These bottom two, because they're upside down, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
They can't be upside down, because the A value is positive. Now, what you're gonna wanna do is find out where they cross the x-axis, that's something else you can do. So, I would factor this, x plus 5 times x plus 3. So negative 5 and -3 are your two x-intercepts, so C is the correct answer.
How
Does that make sense?
How far are we going in
We're going up to chapter 5.
there?
56. What value will complete the square?
Can I see Haley Campbell?
She's actually not here.
She's not here.
How do you complete the square? You take half of this number and square it. What's half of -18? -9. -9 squared is 81. So 81 is the number that'll make that a perfect square. Quadratic function, complete the square. Now, you don't have to complete the square. You could use the quadratic formula. I'm not gonna go over it, but I'm gonna do what they want, complete the square. You're gonna bring 14 to the other side. You take half of 10, which is 5, and square it. You're gonna add 25 to both sides. Factor. And this is gonna be 5 and 6, 11. Square root both sides. You get x plus 5 equals plus or minus root 11, and subtract 5. Is this coming back to you guys?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, we did 58 and 59, but we're gonna practice some more of them. How do you write this in vertex form? We're gonna slide 34 over. We're gonna slide 34 over. You take half of -12, which is -6, and square it. We're gonna add 36 here, but we have to take it away, because we want this to look like nothing is done to this side. Okay? Now, keep the 3. How do you factor that? What does that factor?
6 and -6 and -6.
And add these two up. Easy? Okay, try the next one, 59, same thing. That's my number to complete the square. What'd you get for an answer?
X minus 5 squared plus 8.
Plus 8?
Right?
Minus 8.
Oh. There.
Did we ever take the square root?
No, they just wanted in vertex form, it's done. All right, next 2, use the quadratic formula to solve these. What is the quadratic formula?
-b plus or minus.
Now, if you don't think you're gonna remember the formula, you should write it down on your index card. All over 2a. So -b, what is the b value? It's negative, it's 1. So it's gonna be, x is gonna be -1 plus or minus the square root of b squared, so 1 minus 4. A is -4, but what's c?
0?
It's 4.
Oh, right. 4.
Because you have to bring this over, it's gonna be a positive 4, and then over 2 times -4. Okay, does everyone have that? Now let's clean this up. I'm gonna get, these are gonna be it's gonna be a positive 64 and 1 is 65, so the answer is -1 plus or minus root 65 over -8, and I don't think you can simplify 65.
No.
Yeah, no. And number 61, it's the same. Let's practice another one of these. So it's gonna be the opposite of b, so 9 plus or minus 81 minus 4 times -2 times -5. Right? is, because C is gonna be a negative. And then 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. So let's clean this up. What do I get here? Well, this is a 10, and then that's a 4, so it's 9 plus or minus, it's 81 minus 40.
Yeah.
I'm writing it all out. So 9 plus or minus root 41 over negative 4. Is that good?
Three.
Huh?
I don't know.
3.
I thought
How
it
many,
was
how many
something
X's?
else.
Well, what's the most number there could be?
2.
2. So it's either 0, 1, or 2. Do you remember this thing, what it's called? What is it called?
No, I remember it.
What is it called? I'm asking you guys. It's called the discriminant.
That was
It's the b squared minus 4ac. Let's do it.
I actually remember that.
Well, b is gonna be, if you get this in order, the way it should be, like that. B is 7, so it's 7 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 7. So you get 49 plus, this is gonna be 28.
77.
So you get 77, that's the discriminant. If the discriminant is positive, that means there's 2 solutions. If it's 0, how many solutions are there?
1?
1, and if it's negative,
No solution.
none. Okay, 63.
Oh, God.
These are some ugly numbers here. You live near a bridge that goes over a river. The underneath side of the bridge is an arch that can be modeled with the function blah, blah, blah. Where x and y, all you need to know is they want the maximum, they want the highest point right here. What is the highest point called?
The vertex?
The vertex, it's the max. So you're gonna do this to find it, but you need a calculator. That's the b value, so it's negative 0.619 over 2 times negative 0.000. This problem is actually from your book.
Why are they trying to hold us?
And I got 0.001 when I did it. And then you have to plug this in here and here to figure out what the y value is, okay?
It's just not.
So you can do that, and you might be able to get the answer just with that x value. So plug that number in, you would square it, multiply it by negative, and then add 0.001 times 6.619. And that'll give you your y value. Okay, next, 64. How do you simplify this one? You take, what, you have a negative. What do you do with that
I'm
negative?
gonna take that out.
Take it out.
I'm just gonna be out.
Now, a lot of people think the square root of 360 is 60. It's not. It's not.
It's
Okay, so
18.
break this up.
It's 18.
36 times 10 is 360, and this is 6 times 6, and this is 2 times 5. So what's my answer? Can you tell me now?
6.
30.
You take that out, so it's 6i
root 10.
root 10, yeah. So be careful there. Right away, I look at it, I almost wanted to say 60. It's not. Okay, how about number 65? How are you gonna go about doing this one? You've got 2 complex numbers and they're asking you to subtract them, what should you do? No foiling. No foiling, you're not multiplying.
Oh.
But a lot of people foil on this, I don't know why. It's saying subtract.
And then you get
So what do you get?
negative 1 minus
You get negative 1 minus 9i. 66. What do you think they want you to do?
Divide them.
What's wrong with this problem is we have a radical in the bottom. You're gonna multiply by the conjugate.
Oh, it's an I thought that was a
It's
T.
an I, it's an I.
I thought it was a T.
Okay, so what do? You multiply by the conjugate, 4 plus I. So now let's distribute. Negative 1 times 4 is negative 4. Negative 1 times I is negative I. And then you have 12I. And then you have 3I squared over 4 times 4 is 16. The next two cancel out, and then you have minus I squared. Now, do you remember what I squared equals?
-1.
Negative 1.
So it's a
So,
positive.
this is gonna become a negative 3. And what's negative 3 and negative 4? And then add these two up, you get 11I. And then in the bottom, this is gonna be a 1. 16 and 1 is 17. There's your answer. Number 67, you're going to subtract 16. And then do what? Anyone know?
Divide by 9.
So you get x squared equals negative 16 ninths. Now what do you do?
Square root it.
Theoretical problem.
What do you get for an answer? Plus or minus? What's the square root of 16? What's the square root of 9?
Four
What's the square root of
thirds.
negative 1? 4/3 I. Right? Okay, and then 68, what should you do? I don't like this fraction here. I'm gonna multiply this by 2, this by 2, all of it by 2. So you get x squared minus 2x plus 4 equals 0. Now, I'm gonna complete the square because this is an even number. How do you complete the square? Subtract 4. Now you're gonna take half of this and square it, which is 1.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Square root of both sides. You get x minus 1 equals plus or minus root 3I, and then add 1. You didn't need parentheses there. A lot of people put this, see this negative 1? They'll write a negative 1 on the other side. That's a very common mistake. In multiple choice, people like to put that down because that's a mistake we know you made. It's there to trick you. Okay, we just reviewed two big chapters,
Ooh, wow.
okay? And that off, please, thank you.
Bye.